We are ready. Awesome. So let's see how this goes.
Awesome.
So how are you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. So we are going to start rolling here. This one's fun because you've seen kind of what Hannah did with hers. It's a little different than this.
Yeah.
This is just, and if you want to, feel free to bring that closer or whatever's comfortable. This is all about just being chill and hanging out.
Awesome.
So this is the NH Business Show. Thank you so much for joining me. And let's see, do you typically go by Kayla or do you go by Elsa for your friends?
Both, but most people call me Kayla.
Okay, cool. So let's talk a little bit about what you do, because I checked you out online because Hannah kind of recommended you. And
Yes.
I've been really impressed. So let's talk a little bit about you.
Thank you. Hannah's a great girl, by the way. But I do a lot of stuff. So I am the owner of Precious Parties by Kayla, a professional children's entertainment company. I also am the owner of the brand Jacked Elsa, and I'm a fitness coach, and I do modeling, and I do coaching, mentoring, all sorts of fun things. So I'm doing a little bit of everything.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
Now, how did you get into that?
All right, so with Precious Parties, it all started when I was only 16 years old. I worked at Chuck E. Cheese, and I'm sure you all know what Chuck E. Cheese is. And
Hope so.
I was actually the rat. So I would dress up as Chucky, but I was also a party hostess as well. And then this one family approached me, and they told me that I looked a lot like Cinderella. So they wanted me to host their daughter's birthday party. And it turned out she was a child through Make-A-Wish Foundation. And then from there, I ended up doing a lot of volunteer visits to the hospitals and all sorts of fun charity work. And it just started into this incredible opportunity where I was able to make a lot of kids happy. And back in college, what happened was somebody told me that I looked a lot like Elsa. And which, I mean, my hair is basically white. And so I figured that I'd play along with it, and I invested in the Elsa costume. And then that's where the brand Jacked Elsa started as well. I was very much into fitness, and I can tell you all about that in a second. But I just decided one day on my Instagram, I just took it off private. I had only like 200 followers, and then I just started working every single day to start networking and growing and creating this, basically this like super brand of just helping people and coaching them and trying to be that little inspiration for people that may be struggling through some things with fitness or stuff in their everyday life. So I know that was a lot.
Well, I only had 200 followers. Yeah, tell them my little page.
No. I mean, it all starts with, you have to work very, very hard to grow your brand and for networking and everything. And people were calling me crazy. They said, "What are you doing? You're not making any money off of this." I would spend like 10 to 12 hours every single day just on social media trying to network myself for over a year. And my family called me crazy. My friends called me crazy. Everybody was like, "What are you doing?" Like, I am an entrepreneur, and I know what my goals are, and this is what I want my brand to become. So fast forward a year later, I'm at over 60,000 followers that I gained organically. And that's just from consistently posting every day and having that image. So your brand, mine is Jacked Elsa. So I have to be relatable to people that, are in the fitness world, but also they might be women or somebody that's interested in Disney. So I collaborated with those two ideas, and yeah.
It's really cool. You said that was a year?
Yeah.
So in a year, you went from 200 to what, 60,000?
Yes. Yeah. So it took about a year. And well, one thing that I really want to point out is that people tend to give up very easily because they look at the short term rather than the long term. So for example, if you're working every single day for a month and they're like, "Oh, I haven't grown, I haven't done anything, I haven't, made any progress," well, you're not working hard enough. These people, these successful business owners or these successful people in any aspect of life, it's not like they wake up one day and they're a millionaire. They have worked every single day. They've put in the effort for years, and that's, if you want something bad enough, then you'll make it happen. Mm-hmm. So basically, what has happened for my brand is I do a lot of networking and marketing for other companies. So for example, companies will reach out to me, and I'm sponsored with a fitness company called First Form, which I won a contest with last year. And I have a lot of different opportunities right now that I'm making money. And then I've also have with Jacked Elsa, my brand, I coach girls as well and males as well, in fitness and anything that they have for, marketing or business, whatever it may be. And then with online and social media, that has just made everything so much easier. And I've been able to connect with so many people.
That's really cool because, switch my cameras here. Social media has done wonders for being able to grow a brand.
Absolutely.
So I find that's pretty interesting that, you went from like 200 to 60,000 like a year.
Yeah.
And yes, there's a lot of work involved, but trying to do that organically without the internet would have been way different way back when.
Absolutely. And going back to when I was 16, somebody actually dared me to do a pageant. And I laughed. I thought it was crazy. I'm like, absolutely not, because, the stigma of a pageant girl. But then I realized that, I could make that opportunity into something really, really great. Mm-hmm. So I ended up doing a few pageants. I won some great scholarships. And that's when I first started learning about branding myself, because I always had to keep this positive image and be this role model for people that were looking up to me. I mean, like, I'm not trying, going out of my way to be a nice person. I feel like I've always been a nice person and happy, but I just have been aware of it. So, for example, back when, like I said, when I was 16, I won Miss New Hampshire High School and went to nationals for Miss America, but high school version. And part of the contest was you had to get like the most likes on Facebook. But this was back when I was 16. So that's when I realized I was good at branding myself, and I won that at nationals and got 16,000 likes on the photo. But this was a long time ago, so I'm like, okay, like clearly this is something that I'm into. So that's when, I realized that maybe marketing is something that I should go into. And I enjoy it too. I love connecting with people.
Yeah. What did you go to college for?
So I went to Suffolk University in Boston. I was a double major in global business and marketing. And then I studied abroad at Regent's University of London. I came back as a junior and changed my major to advertising. So because of the switch as a junior, I went from the business school to the communication school. So I had to spend additional time in Boston. So instead of that, I figured to save money, because I pay for school myself and everything. I'm a first-generation college student. I figured that I would transfer to SNU, Southern New Hampshire University online, and finish up there. So unfortunately, I wish I was in Boston, but but it's okay.
Okay, yeah. Your college background is way better than mine.
No, I mean, here's the deal, though, right? I feel like college, I mean, it's a wonderful thing, right? I'm a first generation. I think that the experiences that I've learned have been incredible. However, right?
However, yes.
Being an entrepreneur is very, very, very different. The experience, you don't learn how to be a successful entrepreneur by going to school. Like, not at all. I actually took some time off from school because I was very sad about the transfer and everything, and I started just working really hard on my brand, and that's how I started growing, because I realized I'm like, I am never going to work for anybody. I just want to be my own boss. And so I feel like if you truly want to be a successful entrepreneur, then you have to just throw yourself in. And a lot of people are so afraid to take that leap, but once they take that leap, they soar. So you just have to be afraid and cross that boundary. I mean, not be afraid.
Be afraid.
Yeah, be afraid. No.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I think we have pretty similar views on that. Where college is great, and I probably wouldn't be going if the military wasn't paying for that.
Absolutely.
No. You learn a hell of a lot more outside of it.
I mean, I'm not bashing school by any means. I think it's absolutely incredible. I mean, if I was going to be a doctor, you need to go to school, but I'm not going to be a doctor. And so that's why the real world experience is very important for my type of work. Because if you go to a 4-year school and you graduate, and then, you did an internship here and maybe like volunteered here or something, it's like, all right, go run your business. How are you going to do that? Yeah. You don't have that. So anyways.
Yeah. Gotcha. So I remember this was actually fairly recently. You did something very similar on Instagram that I do, and you literally like laid out all of the books you had picked up.
Yes.
Time. I do that too, and it's like every page is like, oh no, I gotta stop buying books, and it's like 5 or 6. I'm like, this is for this month.
Oh, I know. So I'll tell you a funny story with my reading. I had a very hard time in school with reading. I was always embarrassed by how bad I was at it. I remember kids, they would, when you would sit in a classroom and the teacher would give you a page and then like, all right, read this page and then flip it over when you're done. I was the last person to always flip the paper. So I would like flip it over anyways, and I didn't understand the content. So over the years, I was like, oh, I hate reading. And that was just in my mind. And I never wanted to cross that boundary because I thought I was bad at it. I was afraid to take the leap. And then eventually it hit me that I was like, I'm just going to do everything that I'm scared of. So there's a bunch of other things that I'll go into in a second, but I ended up just reading and crushing like a book a week. And it went from me, like I couldn't even read 10 pages in an hour because it would take me so long. I'd have to keep rereading everything, to now I have a stack of books next to my bed that I'm like, I can't wait to read them. So it's very important. I think that you should always be expanding, your knowledge on anything that you're interested in. And one thing that I've learned is that if you keep buying the same style books, so for me it was like entrepreneurship. I'm like, all right, like I get it. I've already read all these books. It's like the same concept. So one thing that maybe was more uncomfortable for me was finance. So in that aspect, so I didn't want to, but I picked it up and I'm like, I'm just going to do it. And then that's how you start expanding your mind with everything. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
I feel the same way. Like I said, I try to get through at least one book a week.
Yeah.
So I think we're on a pretty similar schedule there. I have a whole bunch of books in my cabinet. They were where you were sitting. I moved them this morning. So
I am pretty short. I mean, it probably would just make me taller.
Moved up.
Yeah.
No, but I totally agree. Books, very, very important. I read a lot of entrepreneurial books, public speaking as well, because I think that's very important.
Yes.
And I'm working on it because they're actually very similar to you. Back in school, I wasn't the brightest kid.
No.
And I've even written, I think we talked about this at one point too. I had a teacher straight up call me like average, and he's like, you should probably look at average stuff because you're not that bright. And from that point forward, I was like, okay, I need to not be average. And it took a while to get over that.
Exactly.
And once you do, it's like, okay, you can be more than average, just school's not my thing.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to be a valedictorian, at school, but I can do other things. I can run a business, I can talk to people, and I can run a business.
Absolutely. No, it frustrates me when I hear that, like my face, you can look at that video, I was like, instantly when you said that, because I've had the same thing happen to me. Yeah. And I think that especially children growing up, when they have that one either adult figure or a parent or maybe a sibling or somebody that is just constantly saying negative things or bringing them down, it can really affect how you view yourself and the world around you. So for example, in 3rd grade, I will never forget this, I had this one teacher, and we were sitting, it was called rug time, sitting at rug time, and she was going around the circle and asking everybody what they wanted to be. And this one girl was like, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a lawyer, I'm going to be the president. And she got to me, and I said, I'm going to be an artist. And she looked at me, and she's like, an artist? She's like, what are you going to do, sit around and be poor all day and paint pictures and not make money? She said that to a 3rd grader. And I was like, I'm very sensitive and hysterical, so told my mom. Mama Bear wasn't too happy about that, so it was taken care of. She went in and talked to her and everything, but ever since she said that, for years I was like, I can't, like I don't want to be an artist. And not necessarily painting pictures or whatever, but I look at what I do now as an art, so for example, my Instagram, people look at social media like, oh, it's something to interact with your friends. No, like I use it as a business tool. I use it to map out my mind, to show people what I'm thinking, to show people how I can, maybe help somebody. So I guess that's my art. Yeah. So just like, and then another thing is like, with my fitness, for example, when I was going into high school, I struggled with an eating disorder, and I was down to like 98 pounds, and it was very, very, very bad. And then from there, I ended up gaining like 40 or 50 pounds in college. So I always had family members. My mom was amazing, not my mom, but just like bringing me down, or like people that like I'd sit at the dinner table and they'd make like pig noises or something jokingly, but those jokes really can hurt people. And that leads into bullying, which we see all the time, where, yeah, it might be a joke to you and it might be funny, but you don't know how it's truly affecting them. For example, that teacher that said that to you, that probably hurt. The teacher that said that to me, that hurt a lot, and I still remember it. I'm 23 years old, and that was in 3rd grade, you know? And like a family member that said something, or like said like, oh, you need to lose a few pounds, when, you know, it's like, so I think like that's your chance to just crush your goals and just prove them wrong, because you're the creator of your own happiness, you know?
Yeah, and I agree.
Yeah.
I do think there's a lot to be gained from people making fun.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do agree that if we could avoid it, it's probably better.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But I never would have, hit the books as hard as I did outside of school if they hadn't straight up told me I wasn't very smart.
Yeah,
It's kind of like a grudge.
Yeah. But I think that I'm always like one of the first people to stand up for people as well, so I don't like tolerate that at all.
I like that. But yeah, because I've seen that too. Like, it's actually a pretty common thing I hear all the time from Gary Vee to Grant Cardone, if you know who he is, where they talk about your family is they're like
first people.
They're the first people to tear your ass down. They don't care.
No, and I also listen to Gary and Andy Frisella. He's with First Form as well. He's great. You should look him up and listen to his stuff. But I always listen to these motivational speeches and podcasts and all these things. But one thing that I've learned is, the more successful that you get, and you can define success however you want. It can be, personal success, maybe with your fitness or with your business, or however you want to define it. The more people will start to, I don't want to say like haters, but like the more people will start to dislike you. Yeah. And the family is always the first, because they're either, not happy with their life decisions, or they're too afraid to, again, going back to that metaphor, take that leap. And then, so that's when you're just like, just smile and just be happy and just keep doing you. Yeah. So.
I like that. So let's talk a little bit about the kids.
Yes.
So I like this. You're a good role model for young women. I love
you.
that, even young boys. Just teaching them, one, it's okay to be smart.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
Completely okay to be smart.
Yes.
And which is a little bit more rare, is that yes, college is important, or it can be important, but it's not necessary, because college doesn't have a monopoly on education, which I think is what's lacking in society now, is they don't understand that.
Exactly.
So I like that. So let's talk about, roundabout way, let's talk about your business a little bit. We've talked about you for going on 20 minutes now, so talk about what you do a little bit, because I love the Elsa brand. It's really cool.
Thank you.
Talk about what you actually do for kids.
So technically, I'm not affiliated with Disney. I'm cosplaying, so I'm like the Ice Queen, or just like a generic princess. But I mean, let it go.
Gotcha.
So anyways, no, like I said, I started when I was 16. It was very slow. I did a lot of charity work. I'd go to hospitals and surprise children, and as I said earlier, I'm very sensitive, so it was hard for me to detach my feelings from work, because seeing a child that has that's dying is very, very hard. But over the years I grew stronger with that, and it turned into something like, I'm not just making money, like I'm actually creating these lifelong memories, and it is so rewarding, and I'm so thankful that I have been able to touch thousands of kids over the years. And I think, I get letters years later from parents, or pictures of their kids, and they have my autograph still hanging up in their room, or they're like, she still talks about it this day. And so it's very heartwarming. And sometimes when, I went to Disney recently, and I had the braid in, right? And I wasn't impersonating her. It's just like how I look. And kids would come up to me and they're like, are you Elsa? And I'm like, Elsa wears daytime clothes too. So they would get all excited and take pictures and stuff. So I don't think you can actually do that in Disney. But
You probably shouldn't, but I'm not going to tell anyone.
Yeah. It's okay. I made a few kids happy, so
Yeah.
that's all that matters. If I can make one person happy, then like I'm all set. And I know I've made a lot of people happy. A lot of people tell me that, not being like, oh, I make people happy, but one story I remember, so it was this free party. I do free giveaways sometimes to well-deserving families. And this one family, it was just like out of my way to go to this party. So I wasn't frustrated at the family, but I was frustrated about like my situation at the time. But I'm like, no, it's going to be fun. I'm going to do it. So I get there. It was a 98-degree day. It was scorching hot. There was no decorations at this poor party. All the kids were sitting in their costumes or sweating bullets. And one of the little girls, she's like 10 or 11 years old, which is kind of old for believing in one of these princesses. But I believed in Santa until I was 13. So, but anyways, so this one little girl, I'm painting her nails and doing all this stuff, and I called her Princess. I'm like, Princess, what's your favorite nail polish color? And she looks me dead in the eye, and she's like, my dad used to call me Princess when he was alive. And like, literally.
It's like, oh God, I'm going to cry.
Oh yeah, I did. I like had to turn my head to the side, but those are the memories that I will always remember, and it's so, like, I wouldn't give this up for the world. So, look, I'm tearing up. So.
We'll switch cameras here for a second. Give you a minute. Yeah. So, so it's got to go through what you do. So, you show up, you're not affiliated with Disney, so we won't say any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But you show up.
I'm sorry, I completely avoided the question.
So, you show up at these parties.
I go to the parties. And we do the meet and greet session, which is normally like between 5 and 15 minutes. And they can either be super excited and throw themselves at you, or they're absolutely terrified and scream, cry. They are so afraid of you, because think about it. It's a cartoon character coming to life. And as a child, it's hard for them to process that. So I let them warm up. I'm not like, oh, give me a hug. Like
Hug me.
Yeah, no, never. You always make them come to you. So you warm up, and then I usually do face paint, nail painting. Sometimes we do sing-alongs, and I help with the cake, and we open presents and all sorts of fun stuff. I bring a treasure chest filled with little costumes and fun stuff. So
that's pretty cool.
It's very fun.
So because we're in New Hampshire, New Hampshire Business Show, it's kind of, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but that there's a market for something like that up here.
Yes. So
even though as small as we are.
No, one of I guess you have to look at it as like, because we are so far away from a big company or these super parks like Disney or something like that. There's one in California, one in Florida. There's nothing in New Hampshire or New England. I mean, there's Busch Gardens, but that's down south, I'm pretty sure. I'm not entirely sure, but something like that. But no, there's nothing like that around here. So maybe the families that, not all families, but some that can't afford to go to Disney, it's expensive to go there. So they can have something directly delivered to their house for their child's birthday. How more personal can you get? Yeah. So there's definitely a market, but I think anybody that has a child that likes princesses. So there's always children. So.
Yeah, Disney's pretty popular, so I'm sure there's always someone that's going to like princesses.
Yeah, exactly.
They're definitely creating the demand.
Exactly.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And I try really hard with it as well. I don't jip out on the costumes. I don't get like Halloween costumes, because my thing is I'm a perfectionist with everything that I do. Mm-hmm. And I know that if my client is buying something from me, that I am going to give them my all with everything. So I get, I specially customize my dresses, and I hand glue a lot of the stuff and sew them up and do everything that I can for them. And I get it's exhausting when I do these parties. No, it really is. Like I come home and I'm like, oh man, like that was a long party, because I just put so much energy into it's a performance. Yeah. It's not just like, hey, happy birthday, like.
What's up, kid?
Yeah, never. You have to be. You are Elsa, or you are a princess when you get there.
Yeah.
So.
And I can definitely see that because their expectations of a princess is definitely like up there, and that would be very hard to just be normal and hit that expectation.
Exactly.
Because they want you to be regal and all these things. So I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a lot. So.
I could talk for hours. I'm sorry.
We can talk for hours. We have no time limits.
Good.
So I'm trying to think what to even ask now. So we've gone over all the princess, probably not all the princess stuff, but I do like that you make your outfits because I've seen a bunch of them. It's following you on Instagram and stuff now, so it's pretty impressive, and they are very regal and very nice.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
So let's talk a little bit about fitness because as you can see, I love fitness. Clearly, I have a bag of jelly beans sitting over there that I've been hiding.
It's okay. It's okay. Hey, you're okay. Going into fitness, because I had an eating disorder and I had such a warped view of what fit was, and I think a lot of women, especially, I mean men too, but when they think about like, oh, I need to exercise, they always say, I want to get skinny, right? Mm-hmm. You always hear that, like, I want to be skinny, like, I want to be a size 2, I want to do this, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, all right, like, you can do that. Is it healthy? Maybe not. You know, like, my goal now is I want to be lean. I want to be strong. I want to be able to eat what I want. I'm a big eater. I'm just going to throw that out there. And so I've done like every diet you could imagine. I've done the crash dieting. I've done, like no carbs, no fat, all this stuff, all the bad stuff you're not supposed to do. Really messed up my metabolism. So I had a very slow metabolism. So college came and I was so focused on my business. In school, so I would go to Boston from Monday through Friday. I had no social life. Take the bus home from Boston, go straight back to New Hampshire, run my business for the weekend, go back to school Monday, do it all over again. So like I didn't party, I did like literally but it was good though. But I lost track of myself. I was so focused on like, all right, like let me grow, let me do this, let me focus on school, that with my meal plan with Starbucks included, I'm having like 3 caramel frappuccinos a day, and that's 5,000 calories just for the drink. And so of course I blew up. It was freshman 15 to freshman 50. Yeah. And then one day I looked in the mirror. I came from one of my classes and I looked at myself and I'm like, nope. Like I'm not happy with myself. And you to succeed in anything that you want to do in your life, you have to love yourself first. Yeah. And you have to put you first. And I had to learn that because I still put a lot of people first, but you just have to take a second and realize, I have to invest in my health. I have to invest in me to be able to bloom into something more. Yeah.
That's really cool. That's a really funny concept. Have you read the book Give and Take?
No, I have not.
It talks a lot about that. It talks about givers and takers, and givers fall into this trap of they constantly are trying to help other people so much that a lot of times they can kind of fall back on their own stuff. So I thought that was kind of funny because
it's overwhelming. Yeah. And I'll talk about this as well. So I think like, people, they see these social media celebrities or these people that they follow and they're like, oh, they're so perfect. They have such a perfect life. Like they do everything so perfect. No, nobody is perfect. I am not perfect. And yes, like life is overwhelming. And there was a time in college where I was just so overwhelmed by everything and so stressed. And I just had to take a step back and just be like, no, it's me time. I have to just, who cares about what my family's saying, or who cares about like if you're in a bad relationship, like just drop the toxic people and just focus on you. And it changes your life. It really does. So remember that the people on social media that are doing this, they are just putting out their best self to help other people. And so I try with that to be, as real as I can. So for example, I'm off season for my bikini competition, so I'll talk about that in a little bit for fitness. But so off season means that I'm not dieting as hard as I was before. So when I sit, like I'll get some rolls like every other human. It's, you know what I mean? So I'll post a picture, be like, hey, look, like this is my modeling picture, but also look, same day, like I have rolls as well, or like Because I'm not going to be this fantasy, because I'm a real human.
Yeah.
And that's what people need to understand, is that it's okay to have little imperfections or so.
Which is fun.
Yeah.
On a funny note, I always talk about the books I read because I read so many books.
Yeah.
But there's this one book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a
Yes.
Frick.
My boyfriend loves that book. Yeah, I
It's
haven't read it
fantastic.
yet.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's one of the best books I've ever read. And you're talking about it's like, yeah, everyone spends so much time online that they're like, oh, I feel miserable with myself. And I'm like, well, these people are half the time faking it. You know, they're not that happy. They probably rented that car, or they could have.
And I think that I saw this commercial the other day or something on Facebook, and it basically said, like, it had this girl, she woke up and her hair's all messy, she goes into the bathroom, puts some foundation on, brushes her teeth, brushes her hair, then gets back in bed and takes a picture, right? And then it started a chain, so it went to the next guy who, like, faked the next photo. And everything is staged.
Yeah.
You know? So there's another photo on my Instagram where I staged it out. I was laying in a pool float or something, and it was a donut float. And I thought it was funny because it was after my fitness competition, and I was able to eat donuts. So I posted that picture, but then literally the next post, I posted the unfiltered, like, normal one where I'm hunched over. You could see, like, and I'm like, I'm real too.
Yeah.
So
I'm hunched over this plate of donuts.
Yeah, exactly. I'm enjoying myself. You don't have to
Yeah.
torture yourself to be fit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I don't torture myself to be fit. I should. Yeah, I was back, like, when I was in the military, I was in very good shape.
Yeah.
And then I got out and I just stopped caring so much. But talking about whatever we were talking about there.
How not to care on social media.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
real.
donuts.
So, being real, I guess
Yes,
is kind of what we're talking about. I post a lot of stuff that isn't just, you know, oh, look how awesome the NH Business Show is. You know, we're an up-and-coming company. People know that. So I post everything from the struggle side and, like, it's like, oh my God, I can't even get out of bed today to, you know, all the other stuff. And I think that's important to be real, you know, because people want to see real.
Exactly.
And I think,
no,
you know,
they definitely do. I mean, you should always be, you can weed out somebody that is, like, trying too hard and that isn't their true selves.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I always did with pageant interviews. Some of these girls would spend thousands of dollars, thousands on coaches. Mm-hmm. Coaches for an interview on how to be themselves, right? And I get it, like, if you need somebody to, but if you've never done anything like a pageant before, you need somebody to just help guide you the first time. I totally understand it. Or maybe you have a little bit of stage fright. However, some of these coaches would drill them with these fake processed questions that they memorized, okay? And my Miss Hampton Beach, I went into that pageant and I'm like, I'm just going to be myself. And they're like, what did you do to prepare? What did you do to practice? I'm like, absolutely nothing. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, if they're asking me questions about me, I'm going to tell them me. Like, I'm not going to have anything memorized.
Subject matter expert.
Yes, exactly. I ended up winning that one. And so it was awesome. It was really fun.
And missed the camera. There we go. And I like that because almost back to what we were talking about with princesses. Like, it can terrify people because you're like, oh my God, it's real. It's right there in front of you. It's a real thing. It's not some fake, you know, on the screen safety thing. So I definitely get that with pageants.
They tell me, they're like, don't freeze my heart, Elsa. And I'm like, I can't use my powers. It's so sad.
Don't worry, child. I'm not going to murder you.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. What was it? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, being real. I think that's important, especially as entrepreneurs and businesses. And
exactly.
I like that. That's good message to send forward to people.
Yeah.
Because I know it's hard. Everyone's trying to one-up each other on social media, and they're like, oh, I want to be the next, you know, whoever. And
be the next you.
Yeah.
Like, stop trying to be somebody. Like, be you. Be awesome at who you are. Be your biggest fan and crush it. So a lot of people, they'll message me. I get like this. I don't want to be like, oh, I get lots of messages, but because my social media is so big right now, I do get like hundreds of messages almost every day from people just asking, advice on fitness or mentoring or anything. And right now that First Form contest is going on. So I get a lot of people that are messaging me about that. And they're like, can you give me advice? Like, how did you win? How did you do it? And I'm like, work hard, be consistent, and be yourself. Because if you're not yourself, it's so easy to tell.
Yeah. Because that's I keep going on these little tangents. That's the easiest thing to tell.
Yeah.
Because you have so much practice being you.
Yeah.
That if you try to fake that,
exactly.
it can shine through pretty straightforward.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Pretty easily. Cool. So man, this is good. We've barely even talked about fitness. Like
I know. All right, let's go. Let's go into fitness then. I know.
Okay, so someone brand new looking to get into fitness.
Yes.
They have no idea what to do. They get advice from everyone and their mother, like has some, you need to do a ton of cardio, you need to do a ton of this, you need to cut out fats. Like, where do they start?
All right, well, first of all, everybody is a coach. Everybody thinks that they're a coach, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get the right results. No. So when somebody reaches out to me, I look at it as they are trusting me, right? They are taking the time out of their day, and time is a very precious thing, to message me. And that is, it's humbling to have somebody, that trusts me. So I personally talk to every single one of them. It's not some automated thing. It's not some generic plan that I send to them. It's something that I specially design specifically for their needs. And I call them, I take the time, and I have a lot of clients. However, I love it. I've had clients lose 40 pounds. And to me, it's like, oh, I changed that person's life. I gave them more confidence. I made them more happy. And I get texts every day from my clients, and they're like, Kayla, look, like, this is my meal prep for the week. Or they're like, oh, I lost another inch on my waist, or I can fit in the next belt loop. And that's something that makes me happy. I get so happy when other people are happy. So,
yeah.
But I guess, like, the biggest and hardest step for fitness for people to realize is they have to accept that they would like to make their lives healthier. I shouldn't say, get more lean or get skinny or whatever. The goal should always be to be healthy, because you can be, your average weight for your height. However, are you necessarily healthy eating McDonald's every day? No, you're not. And you'll probably suffer from long-term health problems with, and so that's why I strive to make sure that I'm giving it my all to my clients. Going back to Precious Parties, I give it my all. I give it all to them. And I think, I've had my experiences with different people before that have, like, not given me the best advice, I guess you would say. And it always hurt me that, I trusted them and they never invested as much as I invested in them. And I get it. People are busy. However, I always make sure that my clients feel like queens, or like they're awesome. And I have some male clients as well that are, killing it. So
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Figure out what's going to go off on this, but
make them all feel special, because everybody wants to feel like an individual. No one wants to feel like just a number.
Yeah, and it goes again back to treating the kids nice, treating everything nice, because people like the attention. They like,
Everybody wants to feel like important. Everybody wants to feel like it. Yeah. And
it's kind of like the world revolves around you. It's kind of just a natural thing. You're like, oh, and people adore me with all gifts and stuff, and they like that. And they get the attention. So I get that. It's fine.
Yeah, and I do a lot of positive reinforcement as well. I'm never mean to them. I could never imagine. And you laugh, right?
Yeah.
There are people that are just, like, so mean to their clients. And
I'm sure. I'm sure people like that too in some weird world.
Yeah.
Like, you imagine, like, Gordon Ramsay being a health coach?
No, not at all. Not my type of health coach. But I know what I have to adjust to as well. So, for example, I have a weekly check-in. So with my clients, this is a way for them to measure their weight and their measurements and all this stuff, so I can keep track of it. This way I can make adjustments specifically to help them. So I know, like, hey, are they falling off of their macros? Are they not doing their workouts? What can I do to help them? Because it's never the client's fault. It's my job, you know, to make them be determined enough to reach their goals. So people can say, like, oh, it's their fault, like they didn't do it. No, it's my fault because I'm not making them interested enough in it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
think about it like that. Because if you have clients that are brand loyal, that means that you're doing a great job. And if you don't, then you need to work harder. So, and like one person, they're like, oh, like I work so hard. They message me and they're like, oh, I work 9 to 5. I just have no energy when I get home from work and I want to start a business, but it's too hard. I'm like, you know what? Somebody is working 2 jobs and they're getting home at 1 o'clock in the morning and they're still doing their business stuff. So somebody's working 10 times harder than you. So look at it like, if you're tired, be like, well, somebody working harder than you is doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
Someone's making it happen.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Exactly.
All these businesses aren't springing up out of nowhere.
No.
Because someone's just sitting on their couch like, oh, I'm going to start Yahoo today.
Yeah. I don't even remember the last time I watched TV before. So honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly. So I watch like Shark Tank on YouTube.
Good show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Man, that was pretty good. So we're rolling up 40 minutes now. So
wow.
That's good. What was I going to say? I had something I wanted to say earlier. I forget what it was now. I do that all the time. Whatever.
I do it too. My mind goes like a million miles an hour. So I feel like my mind thinks way faster than what I speak. So sometimes I'll like answer questions in my head. But anyways.
Cool. So yeah, it's a pretty good leaving off point then, since I can't think of anything else. I'm sure give me 5 minutes of sitting here staring at the camera, I'll figure something out. But
thank you so much for having me, and I really do appreciate this opportunity. And I hope that, you know, anybody that's watching that has been watching this whole segment has either, you know, taken something or took something that they can use to benefit their life, or maybe that little spark of inspiration they need to start that company, or to start exploring their options with business, or to just start growing their brand or something. Anything that they want to do, that they can achieve it, because you are in charge of your reality. So.
Awesome. Good leaving off point.
Yeah.
Thank you. How can
Thank
people
you.
reach out to the Jacked Elsa?
Absolutely. So you can reach out to me through my email. It's jackedelsa@gmail.com. So JACKED and then ELSA@gmail.com. Or you can reach out to my Instagram. It's Jacked Elsa again. You can send me a DM, and I do get lots of messages from people, so I will respond to everybody. I always respond to everybody. It just may take me a day or two. Because again, if they're taking the time to message me, I'm going to take the time to respect them and message them back. So Instagram, email, or you can add me on Facebook, but probably Instagram is the best way because I see everything. Facebook's weird. Sometimes you can't see the messages. So.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
That's good. Thanks. Okay, everyone, thanks for hanging out. And hopefully I'm going to have more of these going. I'm trying to get up to 5 days a week. We'll see if that happens soon. But until next time, be good.